18-year-old Tyler Clementi arrived at Rutgers University in August 2010. By September 22nd of the same year, he was dead. His college career was cut short, not by academics or financial problems, but a single tweet. His death sparked worldwide attention into an increasing problem among young adults: social media harassment. A private moment was intentionally made public by Clementi's roommate. This invasion of privacy was severely distressful for Clementi, so much so he leapt off the George Washington Bridge. This unexplored infringement challenged universities to question their role in protecting students from the negative repercussions of social media. What responsibility does the university share in this tragic situation? What responsibility does the roommate share? What responsibility does Tyler Clementi share? How can colleges and universities prevent future tragedies? Should universities limit speech on social media? But could that turn into a violation of student academic freedom? Before we can answer that, first we need to understand, what is academic freedom? The term was conceived between 1890 and 1914, thanks to educators and philosophers like John Dewey and Arthur Lovejoy, who wanted to promote the German concept of Lehrfreiheit and Lernfreiheit, the freedom to teach and learn. In 1915, the American Association of University Professors was established to formally define and uphold the idea of academic freedom, the free search for truth and its free expression. The goal was to eliminate the possibility of any academic institution to arbitrarily dismiss professors for voicing unpopular opinions or researching controversial topics. And so, tenure was introduced as a way to protect professors in their search for truth and as a way to foster students in their quest for knowledge. Indeed, in 1957, the Supreme Court defended academic freedom in the landmark case of Sweezy versus New Hampshire. The court determined that Professor Sweezy could not be held in contempt for failing to answer questions about the content of his lectures. Today, students and professors benefit from this concept in that they are promised the right to free expression inside and outside their classroom. Unpopular opinions these days are plentiful and ubiquitous, and thanks mainly to the advent of technology in the last century, it is all too easy for one individual to declare her thoughts publicly, so publicly the entire world can have access to them. Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are used by billions of people around the globe. Connecting to someone from the opposite side of the planet has never been easier. In 1991, the World Wide Web was born and as a result revolutionized the way people communicate. Through advancing technology, we witnessed a rapid social change, especially as the internet became more accessible and more mobile. Answers to the most complicated problems are solved after seconds of a Google search. Engaging educational or recreational videos are just a click away. When it comes to college classrooms, professors and students utilize these features as a way to enrich learning. Social media technology allows all to share resources and information in real time. Additionally, these platforms economically and conveniently supplement the curriculum by continuing to engage students outside the classroom. Unfortunately, college students also suffer negative consequences as a result of these digital mediums. According to a 2015 study by Flanagan and Babchuk, at a minimum, social media reduces students' information retention, task efficiency, and scholarly production. At its worst, social media results in cyberbullying, sexual assault, physical and mental health decline, and, in the case of Tyler Clementi, suicide. In a world where livelihoods are dependent on digital tools, social media is challenging academe in various ways. As a response, universities are piloting social media policies that are becoming more and more strictly enforced with experimental language. For example, the University of Minnesota adopted a social media policy that was successfully defended in 2012 in Tatrow versus University of Minnesota. Amanda Beth Tatrow, a student in the mortuary science program, was disciplined for posting comments which contained content that violated their social media policy. But finding the balance between protective policy and censorship is not always obvious. Consider the case of Saleta versus Kennedy in 2015, when Professor Saleta posted personal tweets that conveyed his position on Israeli-Palestinian relations. The University of Illinois rescinded a tenured job offer due to the administration's fear of financial repercussions. The University of Illinois did not have a policy to address this specific situation, evidence that speaks to the need for legal guidance in this uncharted arena. Universities need to be cognizant of the potential for their response to stifle academic freedom. If the university overreaches with its policies and applies undue censorship of thought and expression in the name of campus-wide safety, neutrality, or maintaining an image, they risk infringing upon First Amendment rights. The policies that universities enforce need to be trending with the organic evolution of social media. Beyond social grievances, there are serious consequences to inadequate social media conduct, like depression, paranoia, harassment or stalking, and even loss of life. Cyber harassment victims are almost twice as likely to attempt suicide than those who have not been harassed, making this a vital concern for universities nationwide. Of additional concern to higher education is what the statistics represent. According to the National Center for Victims of Crimes, over 15% of women and nearly 6% of men are stalked at some point in their lives. For most men and women, the first experience of being stalked occurs between the ages of 18 and 24, the traditional college age. Therefore, in loco parentis, there is no question that universities are obligated to provide an academic environment free of discrimination and harassment. Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 states, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." Upholding the rules set forth by Title IX should not be equated with the restriction or limitation of academic freedom. To balance the debate between academic freedom and an assumed duty of care, we look further to the law. Safety and student wellness is a legitimate concern for universities. The connection between Title IX and sexual harassment began with Alexander versus Yale University in 1980. The case involved 5 women who alleged that Yale University disregarded a sexually hostile environment and therefore violated Title IX. This was a landmark case that was the first to link harassment to discrimination under Title IX. To further complicate matters, social media has been added to the mix, acting as an evolving conduit through which any form of harassment can spread. Take, for example, the 2017 case of Feminist Majority Foundation versus University of Mary Washington, where members of the student organization brought forth an allegation of cyber harassment relating to events that transpired on the social media platform Yik Yak. The students were concerned about the lack of response from the university toward the vulgar threats made publicly against them on the platform. The organization did not win the case, as its members were demanding that the university bar Yik Yak from campus internet access, which the university and the court agreed to be in violation of First Amendment rights. Unlike the strengths of the federal statute of Title IX, today there are no federal laws to protect individuals from cyber harassment. Although Congress passed the first interstate stalking law in 1996, and it was expanded to include cyber stalking in 2006, this law does not necessarily include all forms of cyber harassing behavior. Thus, victims of cyber harassment must rely on state laws to protect themselves, which unfortunately are not as thorough. Adopting a uniform federal law is an essential step which would protect victims and validate the significance of the crime. Universities can adopt their own social media policies. However, these must be worded with care as to prevent gaps in protection. For example, University of Houston's social media policy states, "The university will not tolerate any activity or posting on an official university social media site that loses First Amendment protection, such as any unlawful, defamatory, or obscene, as defined by Texas and federal law, activity or posting. The university reserves the right to remove any such posting without notice. The university also reserves the right to refer social media activity to the applicable social media platform and/or appropriate authorities for appropriate action." This policy's strength is that it includes general wording regarding social media activity. However, while this is a model document that other universities can emulate, it can still be improved upon. One deficiency is that it does not encompass all forms of electronic communication, such as email. Additionally, universities should educate their students about cyber harassment. It is sadly ironic that on the same day as Tyler Clementi's death, Rutgers University embarked on a 2-year civility campaign drawing attention to the use and abuse of new technology. Students' perceptions of cyber harassment are also influenced by how familiar they are with the perpetrator. For example, the majority of individuals who experienced cyber stalking reported that it was by someone they knew, like a classmate or former partner. Technology is under development to recognize questionable language posted online. Universities can also implement these continuing advancements to automatically display a message that will prompt the user to reconsider the post if triggered. A study showed that the intention to cyber harass decreased after being exposed to this message. To minimize victimization, universities should raise awareness within campus communities and adopt programs that address these very issues.
Oh no, you deleted it.
Awesome. What?
You have to do it all.
Oh.
Oh, Selma. It's 10 o'clock